I like what goes on in Washington. Everybody, puts together a lot of proposals, and I just don't know what the chances are that this is taken seriously by the Biden administration and Democrats. Any chance that your proposal would result in some type of, it's a counter-infrastructure proposal, some type of compromise? Are you optimistic that could happen, and how big is it?
We'll be unveiling this later today, Joe. I think the important distinction, and the reason I think there is some chance of this prompting the negotiations that would lead to a compromise, the reason is that ours is actually infrastructure. And the American people actually do support increasing our already substantial investment in what they understand to be infrastructure. To me, that is the things that we use in common to move people and products and things and services in our economy. So it's roads and bridges and airports and ports and waterways. And it's a serious proposal. It will be certainly several $100 billion over a period of time. We can pay for this without debilitating tax increases such as those that President Biden is proposing. And the American people support actual infrastructure. So look, I don't know how it's all going to turn out, but I think this idea, this set of principles will unite Republicans, and there isn't going to be much in it that the Democrats will oppose on the spending side. They may object how we choose to pay for it, but I'm hoping it launches a meaningful discussion.
Hey, Senator, we've seen the arguments about what constitutes infrastructure, and it's been broadened to social infrastructure, childcare, things like that. But also a lot, some people are criticizing the $2 trillion or 2 point whatever it is as basically the new Green Deal in a Trojan horse. Do you consider EV investment, green subsidies, do you consider that not infrastructure as well, climate change infrastructure? Does that count, or would you say that shouldn't be part of the infrastructure deal?
I think that really should be a separate conversation. I think that is not what we understand infrastructure to be. I mean, we've invested heavily in the highway system, but the federal government didn't pay for gas stations. We didn't pay for the automobiles on the road. So, we can have a discussion about what we ought to do to further reduce the CO2 emissions, which, as you know, have come down very dramatically because of natural gas, actually. We can have that conversation, but there are costs to that. The Biden administration, I wish they would acknowledge truthfully that switching to a more expensive source for energy actually has a cost.
Yeah, and it's I don't know. It's going to take some time, Senator. You are going to send a letter, I think. You already did, to John Kerry.
I did, yes.
And what he's urging banks to stop lending to energy-related, I guess, fossil fuel firms. What will that do? What will that do near term to exploration and prices? And when do we switch over? What's our EV count right now in terms of percentage?
These are important questions, and this is exactly why John Kerry shouldn't be browbeating banks into allocating credit in this country to only politically preferred industries. It's a very bad idea. We still use fossil fuels for 80% of our energy, and that's not going to change overnight. And the idea that the administration is going around without any statutory authority to do this and apparently twisting arms at banks, which is very reminiscent, as you may recall, of Operation Choke Point during the Obama administration. But this is no way to enact major changes in policy to intimidate banks into not providing credit to disfavored industries. So, yes, so it was not just me. It was all of my Republican colleagues on the banking committee signed this letter to John Kerry. And I hope the president doesn't go down this road either with executive orders that would have a similar effect. We need to have a debate in this country about how much of a cost we want to bear to further reduce CO2 emissions. And we ought to be asking, well, how much will it reduce those emissions? How constructive and important is that? What are the costs and what are the benefits? We shouldn't be browbeating banks into not lending to certain companies.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.